A Pisces temper doesn't arrive like thunder on a clear day. It arrives like weather that was always building, quiet pressure in the air, a tide pulling a little harder than it should, a softness that keeps absorbing until the ocean decides it can't hold one more wave. Most people mistake Pisces for endlessly gentle, endlessly forgiving, endlessly fine. But Pisces isn't fine. Pisces is deep, and depth has its own laws. When you live with an open emotional shoreline, the world doesn't just visit you, it floods you. A Pisces temper is rarely about being dramatic. It's about finally protecting what has been overexposed. If you've ever tried to love while carrying everyone else's feelings like sacred water, you already understand the exhaustion behind that flip of the switch. And if this kind of emotional truth speaks to you, subscribe to Arcana of Pisces so you don't have to navigate it alone. Because these patterns aren't here to shame you, they're here to turn your sensitivity into strength. And while you're here, tell me in the comments your date of birth and your zodiac sign, like a small signature at the edge of this message, so I can feel who is listening and what tides you were born under. Pisces is a sign of mercy, yes, but mercy has boundaries. Compassion has a nervous system. A spirit can be holy and still get tired. The temper people fear in Pisces isn't random. It's a flare lit in the dark, a signal that something tender has been ignored for too long. There are 5 triggers that tend to flip the switch, not because Pisces wants to explode, but because Pisces has been trying not to. Think of them as 5 doors in the same hallway. Behind each one is a wound, a memory, a quiet plea for gentleness. When someone keeps slamming those doors, eventually the whole house shakes. The first trigger is being dismissed, especially when Pisces is trying to speak from the heart. Not argued with, not challenged, dismissed. That moment when Pisces offers something sincere and the response is a shrug, a joke, a "you're too sensitive," a glance at a phone, a sigh that says, "Here we go again." For Pisces, this isn't just rude, it's spiritually violent. Because Pisces doesn't share feelings like casual facts. Pisces shares feelings like offerings. When you dismiss a Pisces emotion, you're not only rejecting the message, you're rejecting the messenger. You're telling them their inner world is inconvenient, and the Pisces' inner world is their home, their temple, their only safe place when life gets sharp. So when you mock it, minimize it, or treat it like an obstacle, something ancient rises up inside them, the need to defend the sacred. That's when the switch flips. Not into cruelty, but into a cold, shocking clarity. The voice changes. The eyes stop pleading. Pisces stops trying to translate themselves into a language you'll respect. And if you've never seen that side, it can feel like meeting a stranger. But it isn't a stranger. It's the part of Pisces that finally says, if you won't honor my softness, you will feel my distance. If you are a Pisces, hear this gently. Being sensitive isn't the problem. Staying in places where your sensitivity is used against you is the problem. You can protect your heart without burning the whole room down. You can say, "Don't speak to me like that," and mean it. You can leave a conversation when it becomes a courtroom. Your temper is not a flaw, it's a boundary alarm. The second trigger is betrayal, especially the slow kind. Half-truths, hidden intentions, emotional cheating, the quiet rewriting of reality. Pisces can forgive mistakes. Pisces can forgive confusion. But deception is different. Deception feels like being poisoned with a smile. And Pisces, for all its softness, is psychic in the way it reads energy. It might not have proof yet, but it feels the vibration change. It notices when affection has a shadow. It hears the silence between words. When betrayal enters the room, Pisces doesn't just get angry. Pisces grieves. The temper shows up as a storm because the heart is trying to survive a death, the death of trust. And trust, to Pisces, isn't a contract. It's an invisible ocean bridge. Once it cracks, everything starts to feel unstable. This is why a Pisces temper after betrayal can seem too much to someone who doesn't understand the depth of the bond. But Pisces didn't just love you. Pisces held you in their spirit. Pisces imagined futures, prayed for your healing, softened their edges so you could feel safe. When you break that, the switch flips because the soul refuses to be fooled twice. And it isn't always loud. Sometimes it's one sentence, quiet, final, devastating. I know. Or, I can't do this anymore. The temper is the moment Pisces stops romanticizing the wound and starts naming it. If you've been betrayed, Pisces, let your anger be honest, not messy. Let it be clean fire. Ask for truth. Ask for accountability. And if you can't get it, don't beg your way into clarity. Walk toward the people and places where honesty is not a performance. Your spirit deserves peace that doesn't require constant vigilance. The third trigger is emotional overload, the kind no one sees until it's too late. Pisces absorbs. That's the gift and the danger. A Pisces can walk into a room and carry everyone's moods like invisible luggage. They can feel the tension in a marriage they've never met, the sadness behind a co-worker's joke, the grief in a stranger's eyes. And they don't always know how to set it down. So when life gets loud, too many demands, too many messages, too much noise, too much touching, too many expectations, Pisces begins to drown on dry land. They might still be smiling, they might still be helping, but inside, the nervous system is waving a white flag. Then one small thing happens. Someone asks for one more favor, one more explanation, one more emotional labor, and the switch flips. Not because that one thing is huge, but because it landed on top of a mountain. If you've ever been surprised by a Pisces snapping, ask yourself, how long were they quiet? How often did they say, "It's okay," when it wasn't? How many times did they disappear into a bathroom just to breathe? Pisces temper is often the sound of a soul reclaiming oxygen. And if this resonates, take a second to like the video. Not for ego, just as a small signal to the algorithm that emotional healing content matters, and to your own spirit that you're choosing understanding over judgment. Pisces, this is your medicine. Solitude is not selfish. Silence is not avoidance. It is maintenance. You are not designed to be always available. Build rituals that return you to yourself. Water, music, prayer, journaling, long walks, salt baths, time without screens. And learn to say, "I'm overwhelmed," before your body has to scream it. The fourth trigger is being pressured, cornered into decisions, rushed into definitions, forced into a version of reality that doesn't feel true. Pisces moves by intuition. It needs space to feel its way forward. It doesn't commit to choices the way some signs do, through pure logic or competition. Pisces commits through resonance, through the quiet yes in the chest. When someone demands answers on a timeline that ignores Pisces' inner process, it feels like being dragged across glass. Decide now. Explain yourself. Why can't you just be normal? Stop changing your mind. That pressure doesn't create clarity. It creates panic, and panic in Pisces can become temper because the nervous system will choose fight when flight isn't allowed. This is especially true in conflict. Pisces needs safety, to be honest. If you interrogate Pisces, you don't get the truth, you get the defense. Because the truth is fragile at first, it needs gentleness to come out. The switch flips when Pisces feels trapped, when empathy is demanded but not offered, when understanding is expected but not returned. If you love a Pisces, give them room to speak in their own rhythm. And Pisces, give yourself permission to pause without apologizing. You can say, "I need time to think." You can say, "I'm not ready to answer." You can say, "If you keep pushing, I will shut down." Your temper is often your body trying to create space you didn't claim with words. The fifth trigger is cruelty, especially cruelty towards someone vulnerable. Pisces can tolerate a lot when it comes to itself. But when it witnesses bullying, emotional manipulation, humiliation, or coldness toward a child, an animal, a friend who is already breaking, something changes. Empathy becomes a sword. Because Pisces isn't just sensitive, Pisces is protective in a hidden way. It carries the pain of the world, and sometimes that pain finally demands a voice. When Pisces sees someone being treated like they don't matter, the switch flips into righteous anger. It's the ocean rising to protect what is small and sacred. This is the temper people don't expect. The Pisces who draws a hard line. The Pisces who says, enough. The Pisces who becomes unrecognizable to those who only benefited from their softness. But this side is not darkness. It's integrity. It's compassion with teeth. Now, the deeper truth beneath all 5 triggers is this. Pisces' temper is rarely about the present moment alone. It's about the archive, the emotional memory stored in the body, the times Pisces stayed quiet to keep the peace, the times Pisces forgave without being apologized to, the times Pisces tried to be the bigger person until bigger just meant smaller inside. So how do you heal this? Not by trying to never get angry, not by numbing, not by pretending you're above human reactions. You heal by learning the sacred skill Pisces often forgets: discernment. Discernment is not closing your heart, it's choosing where your heart goes. It's recognizing that empathy is power, and power needs direction. It's understanding that not everyone deserves access to your inner ocean. Some people only know how to swim in shallow waters. If you keep inviting them into depth, you'll keep getting hurt and they'll keep feeling overwhelmed, and the cycle will repeat. Start listening to the early signals. Pisces has them always. The tightness in the throat, the fatigue that feels like heaviness in the bones, the sudden desire to disappear, the irritation that seems out of character. These are not character flaws. These are messages. They are your spirit whispering, pay attention. When you notice them, slow down, drink water, put a hand on your chest, and ask yourself, what did I just agree to that I don't want? Ask, what am I swallowing to be liked? Ask, what truth am I afraid to speak? Because unspoken truth becomes stored anger, and stored anger becomes a switch that flips without warning. And if you're someone who's been on the receiving end of a Pisces temper, remember this: Pisces is not trying to punish you. Pisces is trying to be heard. The solution is not to demand they calm down. The solution is to get curious. What did I miss? What did you need that I didn't see? What can we change so this doesn't keep happening? Accountability is a love language Pisces secretly prays for. Pisces, you are allowed to be complex. You are allowed to be gentle and firm. You are allowed to love deeply and still walk away. Your temper doesn't make you less spiritual. Sometimes it is the most spiritual thing you have, the moment your soul refuses to abandon itself. Imagine your emotions like water in a glass bowl. When the bowl is respected, when it's held steady, the water is calm. But when the bowl is shaken, mocked, lied to, overloaded, pressured, or exposed to cruelty, the water sloshes. And if the shaking never stops, the water spills. Not because the water is bad, because the shaking is real. So let this be your practice. Become the steady hands around your own bowl. Choose relationships that don't require you to constantly prove your worth. Choose conversations where your feelings are met with presence, not sarcasm. Choose honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. Choose rest, even when guilt tries to bargain with you. And when the switch does flip, don't shame yourself. Pause, breathe, repair what needs repairing. Apologize if you wounded someone unfairly, but do not apologize for having limits. Do not apologize for needing tenderness. The world can be harsh. Your heart doesn't have to be. If you felt seen in this message, I'd love for you to stay close. Subscribe to Arcana of Pisces for more deep dives into the hidden language of emotions. And press like on this video if you want more content that turns sensitivity into wisdom. And in the comments, leave your date of birth and your zodiac sign. Tell me what kind of ocean you are and what kind of storms you've survived. Because the goal isn't to become someone who never feels. The goal is to become someone who feels everything and still knows how to choose peace.